Okay, hi you guys. So I'm finally here to give you guys my third bottle update with the Mielle Organics hair vitamins that I was taking. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get you guys this video, but to be honest, I really just didn't, for a long time, I really didn't have a legit update to give to you guys because halfway through taking that third bottle, I stopped because I started to realize that it wasn't working. And honestly, I don't feel like it was because of that vitamin. Like I'm not bashing the product. It's not like I don't think it works. I honestly feel like for the past 2 years, my hair just hasn't been growing. And I feel like that's because of birth control. So that's basically what this video is going to be about. It's also going to be about the solution to the problem that was caused by the birth control. So if you guys want to stick around for that, then I suggest you do so. But if you want like an in-depth review about the Mielle Organics updates, the Mielle Organics vitamins specifically, then I suggest you probably click away, because that's not what this video is going to really be about. I am going to include pictures, but like I said, I really don't feel like they did anything. So it's really not an update for that. I hope that doesn't make this video considered to be clickbait, because it's kind of an update and kind of not. But anyways, let's just get started. Okay, so basically for the past 2 years, I was on birth control. I feel like since I started the birth control, that my hair just hasn't been the same. The first type of birth control that I was on was the Dippo. And if you guys do your research, I wish I would have, that's kind of the worst type of birth control that you can be on as far as hair loss goes. That is what I feel really kind of jump started the whole hair loss process. So, and I'm gonna insert pictures of what my hair looked like before I was on birth control and after, and you guys will see the clear difference. So yeah, so I started the birth control, and after the first 3 months of being on the Dippo, I decided to change it to something else. So yeah, so when you're on the Dippo, after a while, you just basically stop getting your period. And for me, I just felt like that was a little bit strange. Like I hadn't been getting my period for a long time. I'm 25, and I don't know, it just felt weird to me to not have one. So I decided to switch to the pill. And the type of pill that I was on, again, was really bad as far as hair loss goes. I believe my doctor gave me a prescription for Loestrin, but when I got to the pharmacy, they gave me the generic form of Loestrin. And basically, the reason why this specific pill that I was on is bad for as far as hair loss goes is because it is really high on the androgen scale, and androgen is a hormone that can cause, I believe, female pattern baldness, or like alopecia, or hair thinning and shedding. So yeah, when you're on birth control, it's basically a combination of estrogen and progestin. Well, progestin is known to cause hair loss as opposed to progesterone, which is a hormone our body produces on its own, and a hormone that's essential to hair growth. But when if you don't ovulate, which happens when you are on the pill, you don't ovulate, you don't produce progesterone and estrogen on your own, which is why you have to, the pill provides you those two hormones, except the progesterone. They provide you progestin, which is a synthetic form of progesterone. And progestin is known to cause hair loss in women, as well as have a lot of other negative side effects. I will list them somewhere in this video. But yeah, so, and another thing that happens when you are on birth control is, so basically almost any drug can potentially cause hair loss, but oral contraceptives are particularly implicated in a process called telogen effluvium, or hair shedding. Essentially what happens is that the drug causes hair in the growing phase, the anagen phase, to be shifted to the resting phase, the telogen phase. After the telogen phase normally lasts about 2 to 3 months. Hairs are spontaneously shed before they enter the new growth cycle, which is usually 3 to 7 years. Normally, only about 10 to 15% of hairs are in the telogen phase at any one time, but this can increase to as much as 50% in the telogen effluvium phase. As a result, large amounts of hair can be shed as they pass through this short telogen cycle. Interestingly, telogen effluvium can occur with starting birth control pills, switching birth control pills, which is what I've done many times, or even discontinuing birth control pills that a patient has been on for a long period of time, so that you have been on for a long period of time. Fortunately, this process can be reversible once the implicating agent is stopped or the scalp has time to adjust to the new medication. So for me, I did decide to stop. But before I did that, I really wanted to make sure that I was making the right decision, because birth control is obviously makes things easier. It obviously does have its pros, but so I asked around, other women my age, and they were just like, well, no, I haven't had that problem, maybe it's something else, maybe it's your thyroid. But I went to the doctor and I don't have a thyroid issue, and a lot of the reason why I really didn't take into consideration what they said too much was because I noticed that their hair was basically all around the same length. Like, everyone that was telling me they didn't have a problem with birth control all had hair about the same length. So I'm looking at them like, well, I can't really take this into consideration because I know what my hair looked like before, and it's just too much of a coincidence that after being on it for 2 years that my hair is just kind of like stunted or just not really looking the way that it looked before. So for me, it was just a no-go, and I stopped at the end of February. And before I did that, I decided to make a hair oil to help me along, and just to see what would happen. A lot of people were having success with hair oil. I have had success with hair oil in the past. So I just decided to make my own. I was like, I'm just gonna make my own and see what happens. And what I did notice was while I was still on the birth control in December and using the hair oil, my hair was getting much thicker than it was. So I was thinking, well, what if I just stopped? What would happen? Would this help my hair grow a little bit longer than it is right now? And essentially that is what happened. And what I really noticed, what made me really want to stop the birth control, was my mother. She was sneaking and using my hair oil, and her hair was growing like crazy. I don't have any pictures of her from the back, but her hair is almost brush up length. So it's basically almost the length that my hair is about right now. Looking at pictures, I noticed that my hair was almost waist length. I really didn't notice it then, but looking at it now, it's like, yeah, I lost about a good 4 or 5 inches of hair since being on birth control, but it is what it is. I guess it was just a learning process. And, since making the hair oil, I have been able to help other people with their hair. So I guess it's kind of a bittersweet learning situation. I'm not trying to sway your opinion about being on birth control. If you guys are on birth control and you haven't had any negative side effects, then by all means, you stay on it. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not sitting here telling you guys to quit your pack. But what I hope that you guys take from this video is to do your research and realize that anytime you take any type of pill or any type of medication, it can most definitely have an effect on your hair, especially the pill. I've read countless forums of women complaining and crying about how it made their hair fall out and it made it shed. It's in the sink, it's on the bed, it's in their car, it's in their brush. Just horrible reviews about. Usually what happens after you get off of birth control, some women notice a lot of shedding. Like, You know, a lot of people say that you should give it 3 to 6 months to up to a year for your hair to return back to what it was. I personally, I haven't experienced any shedding since stopping birth control, and I truly believe it's because I oil my scalp almost every night. I haven't experienced any of that. Like, that was something that I was really afraid of, because I remember my hair, even when it was really long, it used to shed a lot. And I thought that since getting off birth control, I was just gonna start to shed like crazy, but fortunately it didn't happen. And like I said, I feel like that's because I oil my scalp every night. And that's basically the solution that I came up with for that problem, was just to oil my scalp. And yeah, that's basically all I've been doing. So yeah, obviously being on birth control is convenient for a lot of reasons, but there are other ways. Just saying, you know, it's not worth me being bald, that's for sure. So for me, it was just a no-go, and I decided to stop for that reason. You know, some people may consider that to be irresponsible, but like I said, there are other ways. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say it. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry if it wasn't what you guys were hoping for, but you know, this has just been my journey, and yeah, that it is what it is, you know. I will be doing a length check. I'm gonna give myself to the end of July, and we're gonna see what happens then. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video.